Indeed, Allah is not shy to set forth an example, even of a gnat or something above it. As for those who believe, they know that it is the truth from their Lord. Is faith supposed to come first, or does knowledge come first? It says, as for those who believe, they know that it is the truth from their Lord. So here, I see that. Always and forever, knowledge of something comes first. I learn it, get an idea about it, and then believe in it. The issue here requires a new perspective, or a new explanation for a person to understand why faith is prioritized over knowledge. That's the point. The second point, also in verse 26, which I didn't clarify in the previous video, is, and as for those who disbelieve. They say, what did God intend by this as an example? He misleads many by it and guides many by it, but he does not mislead except the disobedient. Okay, does God mislead? He misleads many by it. I understand that God guides, but does God mislead? And not only that, he does not mislead except the disobedient. Well, they became disobedient by their own will, and they can be held accountable for this disobedience on the day of resurrection. Why would God mislead them by his will? This question was in the 26th verse of Surah Al-Baqarah, in verse 26. Okay, verse 27 says, those who break the covenant of God after its ratification and sever what God has commanded to be joined. And we said that according to divine will, it cannot be permissible or possible that a person could sever what God wanted to join means that, but here in the verse, the truth is possible. And they sever what God ordered to be joined. How do you disbelieve in God? You were dead and he gave you life. Then I caused you to die. Then I brought you to life. Then to him you will be returned. Here, it means a rhetorical question from God. How can you disbelieve in God when you were lifeless and he brought you to life? This is the comparison we mentioned between creation. From the aspect of your creation, you must believe in me. Faith is in contrast to creation, while God later on clearly says, whoever wills among you, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. So, it's normal that he didn't mention creation here in contrast to faith. Pay attention in verse 26, there is, as for, and as forth again, and as we continue, in about 5 minutes, you'll find only one as for, we'll see. Alright, let's start our episode from verse 29. He is the one who created for you all that is on the earth. Then he turned to the heaven and made them 7 heavens, and he is knowledgeable of everything. First, let's start with the beginning. There's no 7 heavens. Science has proven that there is no sky or 7 heavens. Personally, I have a perspective on this sky matter. It may be correct or it may be wrong, and no one knows the interpretation of the Quran or its explanation except God. This is merely an effort or a perspective from me. I see that the sky means everything above or the sky of a person. I could certainly be wrong. Everything that elevates or exalts a person is a sky for them, because science has definitively confirmed that there is no sky and no 7 heavens. Now, the more important point in verse 29 is, he who created for you all that is on the earth, then turned to the sky, meaning he went or intended towards the sky. And here, the truth is, this implies that you have made God into a specific, embodied entity that moves from one place, which is the earth, to another place, which is the sky, to shape it. Then he turned to the sky and fashioned them into 7 heavens, meaning he created them, made them into 7 heavens. And here, the truth is, the story of he turned needs a new explanation and a new perspective because God does not embody. If God embodied, his sanctity would be lost because he would be embodied in a specific place and time. Yes, at this time, at this moment, God went after finishing the creation of the earth to the sky to fashion it into 7 heavens. Here, he entered into time, entered into place, and entered into action, and this is truly a very big problem that needs clarification. And when your Lord said to the angels, I am placing a successor on earth, they said, and when he said, they said, there is a dialogue and debate here between God and the angels. And when your Lord said to the angels, I am placing a successor on earth, they said, will you place in it someone who will cause corruption and shed blood, while we glorify you with praise and sanctify you? God said, he said, they said. He said, I know what you do not know. Here, the truth is about 4 or 5 points, and this verse, I could talk about it for a whole hour. Questions, I mean, not an explanation. I'm not explaining, I'm not into explanations. I just ponder over it. I'm just a person who asks questions. When your Lord said to the angels, I am placing a successor on earth. Here, when you say, he said, it means he actually said it. What a human can say remains as said and says, or will say, because he is a creature. The angels are created beings, they can be said to say, because they are created and limited by time, place, and events. But God is eternal, and here is where God enters into the action of said. This requires explanation, as well, because you have placed God in time, in the past tense, as if he said, then they said, so he said. This actually needs a completely new perspective because God cannot be placed in time, place, or event. Because he is not limited by time, place, or event. God's actions are absolute. Okay, so the second thing here is that we have almost finished talking about. We have started a completely new section, which is the discussion about the angels. We began at verse 29, or rather verse 30, I'm sorry, when your Lord said to the angels. Here, we consider that at 29 we finished one topic, and at 30 we started something entirely different, which is the discussion about the angels. And when your Lord said to the angels, indeed, I will make upon the earth a successive authority. This is the beginning of a new topic in my opinion, in Surah Al-Baqarah. Also, besides, he said, they said. And the new transition into a new topic. This is number 2, meaning, he said, they said, he said, this is a temporal matter. The mention of God in time, action, place, and time requires clarification and a new perspective, in my opinion. The second point is that the talk about the angels is the beginning of the discussion on the topic. Completely new in Surah Al-Baqarah. The third point is that there is a debate between God and the angels, and without this debate, this verse would not have appeared. Because who would God have spoken to, and who would have responded to him, and who would have responded to whom else? This state of debate and dialogue. This Quran is a result of it, just so we know that the Quran is the outcome or result of a debate and dialogue between God and the angels on one side, and between God and humans on another side, and between God and the disbelievers on another side. Something like that. Okay, the fourth point in this verse, in fact, is how did the angels know that humans would shed blood and cause corruption on earth when the knowledge of the unseen is known only to God? In fact, these are 4 things that I noticed in verse 30. Verse 31 says, and he taught Adam the names of all things. Then he presented them to the angels and said, tell me the names of these, if you are truthful. Here, indeed, God's knowledge is knowledge, and here it is in action. We need to pay attention to this matter. Here, it is an action by God. He taught Adam all the names, then presented them to the angels. So, God's knowledge and presentation are actions that took place at a specific time and place with the angels. Then he presented them to the angels and said, he taught Adam all the names, and then presented them to the angels, and then said to them, tell me with these names. Their response was truly, glory be to you, we have no knowledge except what you have taught us. Indeed, you are the all-knowing, the wise. But God did not teach them, meaning their response indicates that they did not learn these names. So how does God ask them about what he did not teach them, knowing that he did not teach them? This is an important question. If God knows he did not teach them, so how does he ask them about something he did not teach them, while knowing that he did not teach them? It means he is asking about something he did not teach them, and knows he did not teach them. You need to pay attention when you read the Quran. So, in verse 33, he said, O Adam, inform them of their names. When he had informed them of their names, he said, did I not tell you that I know the unseen of the heavens and the earth, and I know what you reveal and what you have been concealing? Here is the truth, and this is what we will start with in the next video. Does God need to inform the angels that he knows? So here, he says, O Adam, in verse 33, O Adam, inform them of their names. When Adam informed them of their names, our Lord said to them, don't you know now? Didn't I tell you that I know what you do not know? Does God need to prove to the angels that he knows what they do not know? Naturally, he knows what they do not know. So there is no need for him to demonstrate this to them, that he knows what they do not know. In truth, he did not say, didn't I tell you that I know the unseen of the heavens and the earth? It is natural that God knows the unseen of the heavens and the earth, and knows what you reveal and what you conceal. So, what were the angels concealing? What were they hiding? We don't really know. From my perspective, it is that contemplating the Quran should be done in this manner because the contemplation that God commanded is the freedom of thought. You can ask with complete freedom. There is no specific list in Islam or in the Quran that says this list is off limits for questioning, and this list is open for questioning. There is no verse like that. Naturally, there is. Do not ask about things which, if made clear to you, would distress you. But the Quran is not things, the Quran is sacred, not things, so this concept does not apply to it. Freedom among Arabs and Muslims is conditional on increasing your faith. This contemplating the Quran, means increasing faith, not anything else. This means there is no conditional freedom. It's either freedom or no freedom, either questioning or no questioning. That's my perspective, anyway. I thank you very much for following along, and I hope you will share this channel, send it to your contacts, and subscribe so that you receive updates naturally and automatically every week. I thank you again for following, hoping you will join us in the comments. Your opinions, so we can start creating a dialogue and interaction around the verses of the Quran.